Hello everyone, it's Sidej. We'll be covering Game 4 of 21st Women OE title match. This game is sponsored by Tokushima newspaper. Now the game counts so far 2 wins for Kai and 1 win for Shimizu. Although Shimizu could get 1 win last time, since it's a 3-win match, she still has to hang in there to stop this youngster from ripping off her title from her. So let's see what's gonna happen here. Now we're expecting Static Rook versus Central Rook, Gokigen Central Rook game again. So black plays pawn to 7f. And here usually when white plays Gokigen Central Rook, it will usually proceed pawn to 3d, pawn 2f, and pawn 5d. But in this game, white played pawn to 5d immediately. Well, this is because of the game 2. In game 2, white played pawn to 3d. I mean, Kai played pawn to 3d, and Shimizu played king to 6h. And this kind of tries to decline Central Rook opening because if white pushes this pawn now, black can make a bishop trade and bishop drop on 5c. Because the 2f pawn is not pushed, bishop can promote to this way and this way too. So white can make a horse, and this diagonal is okay for black because knight can block at any time with the help of this king. Okay, so that's the idea of declining Central Rook. If she moves the rook first and then pushes this pawn, well, black can once again make a bishop trade and this bishop fork. So anyway, this declines Central Rook opening. So since white didn't want that, she immediately played pawn to 5d. Okay, so now black played pawn to silver 4h, rook 5b, now Central Rook. Okay, now pawn to 5f, because white's gonna then make a vanguard position on the 5th file, so black stopped her from doing that. So pawn to 5f. Okay, pawn 3d. Now black moves the king up to 6h. Now basically white can't make a pawn trade here. I mean, if she does, it will be basically bishop trade and bishop skewer, winning the lance. So yeah, 5e square is okay. So white played king to 6b, black 7h, white 3b, sorry, white 7b, and then silver to 5g. Well, this is interesting because it allows white to now exchange the pawn on the 5th file. So white goes for that. Black takes and bishop recaptures. Well, because this time that bishop skewer is not going to work because this silver is floating over here. So if you take the lance, you lose the silver. Even if you take the knight, maybe bishop drop, attacking the lance, and also eliminate the horse to get hold of this diagonal once again. So basically white can now make a pawn exchange. Yeah, so white did that, but black didn't take it. Shimizu's idea was silver to 6f, attacking the bishop, and it's interesting. Bishop goes back to 2b, or 3c, and yeah, Shimizu's idea is pawn drop and 5e blocking the rook, and also later on she's gonna bring the rook over to the 5th file and push this pawn. That's her idea. Okay, silver 4b, reinforcing the 5th file. So rook 5h, king castles. Okay, pawn to 3f. Very good attack. I mean, it's opening its way, winning the knight's way, jumping onto here, attacking the 5th file. Well, but white says it's fine. She calmly moved silver up to 7b, not on 6b, protecting the 5c square. So she thinks it's okay. She calmly makes a Mino castle. Okay, so knight to 3g. White can't let black move the knight over to 4e, of course, because if she does, it's going to be a knight silver trade on the 5c square. So pawn to 4d, and then pawn to 5d. But now white immediately drops a pawn to 5c, trying to counterattack with the help of the silver. But black's not going to take it, of course. Silver to 5e, a very great advancement. Okay, now white has to take the pawn with the pawn. Okay, so this is a critical point. Well, black can take this pawn, or of course, it can take this pawn attacking the bishop. That looks more interesting for black. Let's say if he does, well, if bishop 20 attacking knight, well, gold has to move up. So maybe pawn drop, but black can simply sack it, and you take the lance. Maybe gold protects the knight. Well, pretty interesting. But the thing is, after this silver to 4d, they both thought bishop to 2b seems to be good. Well, black can drop a pawn, but rook runs. Rook goes ahead, but pawn drop on 4c, and actually black's not doing pretty well. White is fine. So actually, black didn't go for 4d square. Black played silver takes 5d. So if white immediately drops a pawn, maybe silver 6e, and it will proceed slowly, but white didn't do that. Pawn to 6d. Strong move. She wants to drop a pawn to 5c in the next move, which kills the silver. So black will basically have to drop a pawn to 5c. But white is kind of asking black to do that. So here they went into the lunch break, and after lunch break, of course, black played pawn drop to 5c. But white thought it's going to be okay because after rook to 5a, now white's going to drop a pawn to 5b in the next move, trying to counterattack on the 5b square with the help of the gold. For example, if gold 5 from the right, pawn drop, gold comes over, another pawn drop, gold takes, silver takes. Yeah, rook takes it. And look at this, black doesn't have a pawn, so black has to accept the rook trade and maybe gold drop. But it's very difficult. So anyway, black didn't do that. I mean, didn't move the gold here, and black played. Well, this is very interesting. Bishop to 5e, attacking the 6d square. Yeah, it's interesting, but of course the rook's attack is now blocked with the bishop, so white takes a pawn on a 5c. So, well, this is a very important position for black. Well, one interesting one is knight sack on 4e. If white takes it, black can take the bishop and then win a silver. So basically white has to now take it. Knight to 3c, unpromote, of course, attacking the gold. So silver 5e, and knight takes the gold. Well, this is very interesting. So maybe white will take it first, so that the knight can, the bishop can get away. So pretty interesting. And alternatively, other than knight jump, maybe silver promotion to 4c is also interesting. Maybe bishop to 2d. But something went wrong on Shimizu's mind. Shimizu simply took the silver with the silver. Well, this is strange because it will just clear off the tension along the fifth file. She loses its foothold along the fifth file. So white takes it with the rook. So what she obtained here, look at this. She lost a pawn. She lost his precious pawn, and it's now on the white's piece stand. And also, the silver went all the way to here just to make a silver trade and let the rook become lighter along the fifth file. So it's a welcome for white. So something's wrong with Shimizu's idea. Now bishop to 6d, offering a rook trade. But again, this is a welcome for white. You know, white takes it, gold recaptures from the right. And look at this, white's piece formation is much more strong against rook drops. There's no square that black can drop a rook to. I mean, well, this and this, only these square. But look at white's available rook drop squares. So where does she gonna drop it? It was 3h. Well, this is great because she's threatening a pawn drop next. Well, but the angling pawn next, I don't know. Anyway, black has to block the rook's way with the silver. Well, maybe pawn drop on 5f is one option, but white even went stronger. Pawn to 4e, opening the bishop diagonal. Well, this gives black the chance to activate his knight later. So it has kind of a good point and bad point, but well, the thing is, it's hard to protect it with the knight because white can anytime sack it, and maybe knight drop on 6e. So Shimizu actually dropped the silver to 7g. So after that, well, maybe pawn drop was one option, but pawn drop on 6c, asking the bishop to get out of this diagonal like this. But if she does that, she loses this knight, and it's one way to go. Black is gaining more and more materials. So actually, Shimizu ignored that attack and played this decisive knight jump to 4e, attacking the bishop. Well, now white has an option of sacking the bishop, winning the silver, and take the bishop. That was an option, but white actually took the bishop first, letting black to take the knight, but she did that because she wanted to activate her knight to 3c, trying to activate it along this file. Okay, now what should black do? Well, rook drop on 2a seems good. That's an option, but if you do that, silver drop, getting the initiative, and then knight leap. Oh, sorry, maybe pawn drop after. Oh, sorry, followed by knight leap. Maybe. Oh, I mean, if you take it, knight drop on 6c is also gonna work. So, well, what about rook drop on 4c, followed by making dragon on 4f, protecting these squares? That's one option, interesting. But what Shimizu showed us was pawn drop on 5g. Well, great defense. But white definitely goes ahead. Pawn drop on 5f. Well, I'm not sure this is the best move. We're not sure this is going to work. But, well, black takes it. And knight to 4e. Okay. Now, it seems it's now one way to go. Black's and of course, drop a pawn. Oh, sorry, drop a rook, making a skewer. So, white now has to drop a silver, and it's one way to go. Both attacks so fast, but actually black didn't drop the rook, and she even kept on defending with bishop drop on 4f, protecting the 5g square. Well, so there's not much pretty fast attack for white, but white calmly now took the pawn on 3f. Well, this is good because now she got a pawn, so she can drop it to here anytime, and she has just protected its knight here. Okay, now rook drop to 2a, go to 5b from the left. Now Mino castle's made. Rook takes lance, promotes. Okay, but knight dropped on 3e, attacking this square. Very slow, but kind of good attack. Okay, bishop 6d. Okay, now obviously white cannot drop. White cannot lose his knight because this knight drop. Be careful. So white played 0 to 6c, dropping, protecting this square. That's great. So 4-piece castle is made. Well, gold drop on gold to 6c can also work, but bishop promotion followed by a lance drop. That's kind of uncomfortable for white. So she made a 4-piece castle, just as what black is doing here. So bishop promotes to 3a. Now pawn drop on 5g. Gold goes back, but dragon to 5f, getting another pawn here, and covering this file, stopping black from dropping it on dropping a lance on 5e, for example. Now lance drop on 60, but knight promotes, lance takes, gold takes. Okay, pawn drop on 4h. Well, her idea is maybe if knight goes ahead, silver drop, but even that is not going to work so well, I guess. So, but anyway, I play pawn promotion to 5g, 5h. Okay, pawn 4g, token takes 5i, gold takes 5i, and pawn drop on 5g. Well, maybe white made a little bit of a mistake because, well, of course, you might want to take the gold with a pawn. But the best move here was pawn drop on 5g, preparing for another pawn promotion. But she just took the 5i gold and then dropped the pawn later, which means after promoting this pawn, well, promoted pawn has to go this way, which is not so fast. So maybe should have dropped the pawn earlier. Now black drops from knight, gold runs to 6b. Okay, now because white's a little mistake, the momentum is swung a little bit toward black. Now black may have a chance. So one last chance would have been horse to 60, threatening a silver drop and preparing for horse to 4f. Great move. But Shimizu went wrong here. She played silver drop on 6i. Well, now there's no way black can attack white's king anymore. Actually, well, it makes her loss further away, but it's coming anyway, right? Now white makes a great land drop on 5a. She's going to promote a pawn the next move, sacking her dragon. Now, here's a good pawn drop on 5e. Land stakes and horse to 60. Well, that pawn drop is to clear this rank for the dragon. And what white should be careful is this knight drop, okay? Always. But black doesn't have a knight, so pawn promotes. Okay, pawn drop on 5g. Well, kind of interesting. Black is asking for white to give up his knight to drop here, but white's not going to do that. She took it with the promoted pawn. Very good. Okay, pawn to 4f. Yeah, she wants a knight, but here's a great pawn promotion. Promoted pawn sacrifice on 6g. Yeah, she's not gonna take it. Even better is sacking it here, because if you take it with the silver, dragon can take the gold, and this knight capture is not a threat made yet. Well, it's actually two initiatives made. After the king runs, black can sack his dragon, taking the gold to drop here, 80p. So, well, but it's not a threat made yet, and it's now white's turn to make a threat made to black's king, so it will probably win from this position. Black didn't take it. King to 8h, but here finally white made this decision based on her endgame reading. Dragon to 5i. Well, black doesn't have time to take the knight now, so black has to recapture, but white's not going to save his knight. She goes ahead taking with the lance, because, well, black now took the knight on 4e, which is now a threat mate, starting from knight drop, followed by rook drop on 8b. But, of course, white did that because this was a threat mate to black's king. White plays silver drop on 7i, yes, of course, and it's a checkmate, so black now resigned here. And this youngster Kai has now taken her second title, so she's now a young double title holder. So congratulations for Kai, and I hope Shimizu will come back to get her title back. Alright, if I were to show you the following in the mating line, let's say king runs, well, that's the longest move. Okay, gold drop. Let's clear off all the pieces, and maybe silver drop. Has to take it. Alright. Yeah, it's simple. Okay, so thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Oh, next week, I'll actually go and watch the third game of Kisei title match. So I'm going to make a special video of that. So look forward to it. See you in the next video.